You're watching a segment of The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show.
We're joined by Deanna Barash, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Assessment, and Instruction with the West Bloomfield School District. And Deanna, thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we are discussing the portrait of a graduate.
Correct, yes.
I love that name, actually. I don't know. It sounds so regal, actually.
Yeah.
So tell me what that is.
So the Portrait of a Graduate is actually part of Ed Leader 21, which is an organization based out of Arizona that we found last spring and brought in to help our community identify those traits that we believe all of our West Bloomfield graduates need to have when they leave our school district at the end of 12th grade.
So it's going more in depth rather than just making sure that a kid can read, know math, right?
Correct. So we know that those are foundational skills that every student needs to have to be successful. But we also know that in the 21st century, what is equally important is that our kids can be contributors and communicators and collaborators and can think critically so that they're successful in the world of work, whatever that might mean.
Okay, so tell me what a portrait of a graduate is.
So we went through a process last year. We had about 90 community members who were involved over 3 different evenings. We came together actually in Keego Harbor and invited people to give their feedback. What are those things that we believe all students need to have? And so those were the 4 traits that we decided upon as a community. Every school district across the country does something very similar at some point in time, but we felt that these were important for our West Bloomfield kids, particularly in Metro Detroit, because we know that we'd like our students to not only graduate from West Bloomfield, but to remain in the state of Michigan. And in order to be competitive, they need to have those skills so that employers will seek them. We can have all sorts of hard skills. You can be an engineer, right. You can be a teacher. But what are those soft skills or those skills that will allow you to cross any plane of work and be successful?
So tell me what the traits are.
So the first one is contributor, and often people think that that means that you're doing community service, but that's just very, very surface level. Contributor really means that you're thinking about the world and how you give back to your community, how you give back to your state, how you give back to the nation, and how you give back globally. And so when you contribute, it could be individual ideas, it could be the work that you do, it could be a passion that you have, so that's what it means to be a contributor.
Okay.
Another one is that you're a critical thinker. And we hear that term a lot.
We do hear it. So tell me what a critical thinker is.
So a critical thinker really is a student who can take a problem and work with others and be able to come up with a unique solution. So they don't just take it at face value and then just give an answer. They study, they may go back and say, I don't think this is going to work. They may fail and have to try again. But they really spend time doing the deep dive on their learning rather than around a problem, rather than just looking for their surface level answer. So we want them to think critically.
So it kind of sounds even like thinking out of the box.
Correct, yes. Right? Yeah, so we don't want just remember this answer.
Like memorize it and do it.
Exactly. We want you to say, here's a problem. How would you solve it? And what skills are you using and what things are you studying in order to be able to solve that problem? And how did you decide to use those? And so it really causes them to think about their thinking, which is really exciting stuff for us.
Okay, so critical thinking. What's the next one?
So obviously the next one is that we want them to be a communicator. And communicator also means that you have to be a good listener. So communication is not just about hearing yourself talk and proving your points. Right. It's being able to have discourse with someone and being able to take their point of view and really think and then formulate your thoughts from there. So how do we communicate with one another in order to obviously achieve an answer or to achieve a point, but also what's that mean to be a good listener, which I think in this day and age is a skill that we could all use.
It is, definitely.
Yes.
So, okay, so that's the 3. What's the 4th?
So the last one is that you are a collaborator, which means that you are working with your peers in a number of different ways. And so we often think, you see a lot of when you go into elementary classroom, students working in groups, or high school classroom, students working in groups. That certainly is part of collaboration, but it really is where people have equal voices, that you're not relying on just the leader to take you through an activity.
The one kid that raises their hand all the time.
Exactly, right? And says, you just sit quietly and I'll take care of it for you. This is everybody contributing and working together to solve whatever that problem has to be. So you can see that all 4 of these are interrelated, and that's why we felt it was important to have that as our portrait of a graduate, that we want them to have all of those skills because they can take that into any part of work that they might need to.
How do you implement this?
Well, that's been a work in progress. It's not a one-year fix by any stretch of the imagination. So this year we've really worked on building capacity around what those definitions are with our staff. So we had a Twitter challenge just a few weeks ago, and so schools competed against each other to showcase student work that encompassed all 4 of the C's, and then they posted it on Twitter. So we had a lot of excitement. It led to a lot of collaboration among our teachers. They don't often get a chance to see what's happening in each other's classrooms, and so it
or even different schools.
Exactly. Right? So now they want to visit each other's classrooms, and they've stolen ideas from one another.
Right.
So that's been great. So they're starting to build some understanding. Much of our professional development has been around the 4 C's. So certainly we're talking about reading and about math, but we're also talking about those skills and what does that look like in a classroom.
So it's interesting. It sounds like from the whole Twitter challenge that it engaged the teachers and the staff so much that maybe they've upped their game too.
Absolutely,
right?
Because they love when we recognize them.
Right.
You know, I saw what you did on Twitter, and I've gotten more followers, which is exciting, and they're following each other.
Right.
So that's been great. Our next step is with our parents and our community. So we're actually working on putting together a very comprehensive video that kind of shows exactly what we're doing and how we're going to accomplish it, including involving higher education as part of our partnership, and as well as business and industry leaders that are here in the West Bloomfield community. And many of our graduates are out in the world of work. So that it solidifies the reason why we're making this instructional shift and why it is so important. So we actually will begin our kind of road show in early March with our community and our stakeholder groups so they understand. And our kids are on board entirely. That's what they do every day. That's how they live. That's how they connect with each other around the world all the time. So we're just making it easier for them.
So Portrait of a Graduate, when does this start?
So,
what grade?
Well, kindergarten, right, or preschool, when the minute they walk in the door with us. So it actually is a rubric, and it builds upon, this is what it looks like in kindergarten, here's what it looks like when they're in 7th grade, here's what it looks like when they graduate from high school.
So the milestones.
Correct. You don't wait until they're seniors to suddenly check and see. So
how you doing?
Yes, exactly. Oh, well, now you're going to be a contributor. You've done that all along. So we're very thoughtful about, in each of those kind of grade bands, what does that look like and what's age appropriate and what is skill appropriate for them. So we have developed the rubrics, and we're starting to share those with teachers about how, what students might do. What does that look like in your classroom? What does that mean that the students are doing? It isn't necessarily what teachers are doing. They're just providing opportunities for students to incorporate the 4 C's into their learning.
Okay, so real quick, tell me the 4 C's again.
So communicator, contributor, critical thinker, and collaborator. So those 4.
Those 4.
Yes.
So kindergartners all the way up to seniors can expect to have this integrated into their lifestyle.
Correct, and it'll just be part of what they do each and every day. We've talked a lot about, we don't want this to be, oh, we're doing the 4 C's today and tomorrow we're not. No, that's just what we do every day. That's how we work together. That's how we create projects together. That's how we learn.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Yes. And we've been joined by Deanna Barash, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Assessment, and Instruction with the West Bloomfield School District.
Thanks for watching a segment of The Splash. To catch the entire show or other segments, watch us on Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T Channel 99. Or look us up online at thesplash.tv and listen to us on WBLD 89.3, the all-new Lakes FM.